Hello everyone. So today in this lecture we are going to look at Shia and Sunni difference, and then we are going to look at Iran and then India-Iran relations. So first of all, let us understand what's the difference between Shia and Sunni. Every religion, there are many religions in the world. Now with respect to the religions, there are two important terms. One is cult, one is sect. Every religion is divided into different sect. S-E-C-T, sect. Okay. So Shia and Sunni are two sects. Among other sects, there are two important sects of Muslim religion, that is Shia and Sunni. Similarly, if you look at Hinduism, so in Hinduism there are different sects. For an example, those who worship Shiv, then Shakti, then Vishnu, Krishna, they are different sects. Okay. Now there is something called cult with respect to the religion. When a sect grows into a dominance, then it start differentiating itself from the religion and it takes into a nature of cult. ठीक है, वो अपने आप को उस रिलीजन से तोड़ के एक अलग दूसरा रिलीजन एस्टेब्लिश कर देता है. For an example, Brahma Kumari is a very predominant cult in India. Then Dayalbag Swami, again a very Radha Swami or Dayalbag Swami, again it is a cult predominant in the North India. Clear hai? Two concept, cult and sect. Okay. So Shia and Sunni are two sects of Muslim religion. There are other sects in Muslim religion, but these are the two most important sects. Okay. So Sunni happens to be the dominant, or they are the dominant belief of the Muslim population. So around 70 to 85% of the Muslim population follows Sunni sect, but around 10 to 20% of the Muslim population follow Shia sect. Okay. Sunni, it is majorly in every part of the world. Wherever you will find Muslims, they are in majority, except the 5 countries in which Shias are there. But if we have to see, then Southeast Asia is important, China and Saudi Arabia. These are the 3 important places where you will find Sunnis. But Saudi Arabia is the most important because Saudi Arabia happens to be the head of all the Sunni population. Shias are in majority only in 5 areas, that is Iran. Iran is very important. Then Iraq, Lebanon, Azerbaijan, Bahrain. So Iran happens to be the head of Shia population. So Iran and Saudi Arabia, they started developing cold feet against each other because of the religious or sectoral differences. Because Saudi Arabia follows Sunni sect and Iran follows Shia sect. So Iran is trying to dominate over all the Shia population, and Saudi Arabia is trying to dominate all the Sunni population. Clear hai? Now their belief system is also somewhat similar. They believe in monotheism. Monotheism is worshipping only one God. Okay. Next, they follow Quran and they even believe in the Prophet Muhammad. So this is a common belief in both the religion. But what is the difference? The difference lies in the succession of Prophet. Okay. Who is going to be the successor of Prophet Muhammad? Okay. Who is going to be the successor of Prophet Muhammad? So Sunni, they believe that the successor would be Abu Bakr, then Umar, then Usman, and then Ali Talib. Okay. So this is the belief of Sunni. But Shia believes that after Prophet Muhammad, it was only Ali Talib who could be the rightful successor of Prophet Muhammad. And Shia, they rejected the first 3 prophets who were also considered to be the prophets by the Sunnis. So this is the basic difference between Shia and Sunni. So Sunni basically says that caliph to be elected by the Muslim Brotherhood. Muslim Brotherhood means all the Muslims, they will decide who is going to be the caliph. And who is a caliph? Caliph is the religious head of the Muslim population. It is not some it is not a political office. It is basically a religious, or you can say a kind of a system that has been developed among the Muslim population, that there would be a religious head whom they call to be caliph or the khalifa. But Shia says that the descendant of Prophet or the divinely appointed person, only they can be the Prophet. Who can be the Prophet? Either they should be the descendant of Prophet Muhammad or divinely appointed person. So Ali Talib was somewhat related with the Prophet Muhammad. Therefore, Shia considered him only to be the true successor of the Prophet Muhammad. But Sunnis, they consider all the four. So this is how the difference erupted, and you can see that in the Middle East politics, these Saudi Arabia and Iran are going to be the two predominant power centers who would be deciding the rules of the Middle East politics. This much I hope this is clear. Okay. Now let us go to the Iran. Okay. Let us understand Iran. Iran is a very important country. From the ancient time, it is having great civilizations. If you have seen that 300 movie, there was Xerxes and his father Darius. So they were the people who were fighting with the Greeks, and Greek civilization of that time was again very important. But at that time, Persian civilization, Archimedean civilization was again very predominant, and they were fighting with the Greek civilization. After this civilization, Alexander conquered this region of Iran, and after his death, this region was known as Seleucid Empire. Seleucid Empire was having friendly relations with the Chandragupta Maurya after Chandragupta Maurya defeated Seleucus, who was the head of this empire. Clear this much? Now, then later on, there were different dynasties, empires that came in this part, which were having good relations, sometimes hostile relations with the Indian kingdoms. But by the time of the 15th-16th century, by the time the Turkish or you can say the Turkish empire or the Afghanis, they started invading India, and later on when Mughals came, then Safavid was an empire which was established in the region of Iran. Now Iran was having again good relations with the Indian emperors, but sometimes they were even having hostile relations. Now, if you remember that Humayun was dethroned, and he was running to save his life from Sher Shah Suri, then at that point of time, Humayun took shelter in the Iran itself, which shows the sign of good relations. When Akbar he became the emperor of India, then he have mentioned in his biography that there is a very famous dream that comes to his mind, that the lion and sheep, they are coming together. Sheep was a symbol of Iran, lion was a symbol of India. So he was trying to say that India and Iran, they were coming together. The Mongol or you can say the Mughal empire and the Iran Safavid empire, they were coming together. Clear? So this was historical. Now let us see when this modern Iran started developing. This modern Iran started developing in the year somewhat about 1920s, after the First World War. Now what happened before First World War? So before First World War, since we have seen that British, they were ruling, or they were colonizing India, and India was the most important colony for them. But at the same time, they were having differences with the Russian Empire. So there was an understanding that these two countries started developing, that the Iran would be a buffer state between both these empires. Whatever the part above to the Iran would go to the Russia. The northern part of Iran would be under Russia. The middle part would be neutral. No one would be taking this particular part. The southern part would go to British. Southern part will go to British. Then Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, that all region will go to the British. So this was a kind of arrangement that was done by Russia and Britain. And always remember that Russia have been a hostile enemy for the British or the European powers. European powers always considered Russia to be very hostile. Now, what was the reason? Reason is that every European country wanted to do trade, wanted to expand its economy, and for that they needed ports. So all the European powers were having hot ports, or you can say warm ports with them, but Russia was only a country which was not having a warm port. All the surroundings of Russia, all the sea axis areas of Russia were the cold region, and hardly for 1 month they could use those particular areas for port activities. Therefore, Russia was always in the need to find a warm port, and this resulted into the clash of Russia with the Western or the European powers. Therefore, they will come to Balkan, and then there would be Balkan crisis. They will come to Crimea, and then there would be Crimea crisis. They will try to come to Black Sea, then again Black Sea crisis. They will try to go to the Japan side, then they would have fighting with the Japan. Therefore, Russia was always in a position, and therefore they could not consolidate their empire very peacefully. Clear this much? Therefore, before independence of Iran, this was the arrangement that was done to safeguard both Russian territory and British territory, that whatever would be above Russia, whatever would be above Iran, that would be under Russia. The northern part of Iran would be under Russia. The southern part of Iran would be with Britain, including Afghanistan, Pakistan and India. A mid-central area would be neutral. It would be left neutral so that neither of the countries would invade against each other. Later on, First World War happened, and after First World War, in somewhat about 1925, Iran emerged as a modern state under Reza Khan. He is the founder of the modern Iran. Clear hai? So he ruled Iran till 1941. From 1941 to 51, it was Muhammad Reza Pahlavi. Then from 1951 to 53, it was Muhammad Mossadegh. Now, remember that after Second World War, after 1945, there was the scenario of Cold War. During 1941 to 51, Reza Pahlavi was in favor of USA. He was in favor of USA. But from 1951 to 53, Muhammad Mossadegh, he was not in the favor of USA, rather he was in the favor of USSR. Despite the fact that he was elected through democratic revolution, USA conducted Operation Ajax to dethrone Muhammad Mossadegh, and later on they reinstalled Reza Pahlavi as the Shah of Persia. Now, this is very important development, that because of the Cold War, Iran, where a democratic revolution took place, despite that fact, USA, which says itself to be a democracy, who says that they are very democratic, they went against the democracy to dethrone a democratic elected ruler and install his own puppet. So from 1953 till 1979, Reza Pahlavi would be there. He would be the Shah of Persia, and his rule would be autocratic rule. And he would be suppressing all the opposition by using an intelligence agency known as SAVAK. I hope this is clear. But in 1979, what happened? That in 1979, there was a revolution in Iran, and Reza have to flee to USA. And in 1979, there was again a change in Iran politics. So what happened in 1979? That the Islamic Republic establishment happened under Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. So he emerged as a leader. He is still alive, and he is taking care of the Iran right now also. He rejected both communism and democracy. He rejected both of them, and he adopted a crucial mix of theocracy and democracy. Democracy ruled by the people, and theocracy ruled by religious leaders. So he was able to develop a very crucial mix of these two things, and since 1979 till date, he's trying to and he's running Iran very successfully. This much is clear. Now let us see India-Iran relations. So when we talk about India-Iran relations, what are the significance? So first significance is economic. When we see from the economic perspective, we can have a very good trade relation. We can export, import Secondly, we need oil, and oil can be imported from Iran. Iran has huge resources of oil. Second is geostrategic. This is the most important. Geostrategic. Why? Because on the western boundary, India is having a very notorious neighbor, that is Pakistan, and now above that it is Afghanistan. Both notorious, undemocratic, terrorist friendly. All the terrorists are sitting over there. They are undemocratic. Therefore, they do not allow India to have good relations with the other countries, especially Central Asia, Russia, and the Europe. So they are not providing a trade link. So the alternative connectivity route can be through Iran. That once you go to the Iran, you take and you go to Central Asia. Let us understand this in map. This is a map. I'll use black. So this is India. Here, if you want to go, either you go like this from India to Pakistan. Either you go from India to Pakistan to Afghanistan, then to Central Asia. But this route they are not allowing. So what is an alternative route? You take ship, go to Iran, then from Iran either go to Afghanistan if they allow, or if they don't allow, then go to Central Asia, or you can go to Caspian Sea. From Caspian Sea you can go to Russia, or through Caspian Sea you can go to Central Asia, and then you can also go to Europe. So you have an alternative connectivity route via Iran. Therefore, Iran happens to be a very important for our geostrategy. So for this connectivity, we are developing INSTC. It is International North-South Transport Corridor. So India will be going to Iran. From Iran, they will use Caspian Sea to go to Russia, and from Russia they will go to Europe, or from Caspian Sea they can go to Europe. So this is International North-South Trade Corridor. Next is cultural. India is also having a good Shia population, and we give very good respect to our Shias. Therefore, Iran and India are having good relations because of the Shia population. Second is Persian civilization, as I already told you, and Akbar dream. Next is diaspora. A lot of Indians are working in Iran, and lot of Iranians are studying and working in India. Therefore, we are having very good cultural mix of the diaspora. Next is security and stability. Again, from security and stability perspective, again, Iran is very important for India, so that we could oppose terrorism, we could oppose Pakistan, we could oppose China. Because if Iran is with us, we can say that we want a peaceful neighborhood in the Afghanistan-Pakistan region. Then we can also say that we want a peaceful Indian Ocean. We want freedom of navigation in the Indian Ocean. Therefore, for all this, Iran is again a very important for India. Next, political. So again, we need Iran's support against Pakistan in the multilateral organizations like UNO, OIC, and the other places. Now let us see the challenges. In challenges, USA has put sanctions. USA has put sanction on Iran after they came to know that Iran was developing its nuclear missiles. Now, since India was importing lot of oil, because of these sanctions, India have to reduce our dependency on Iran. But over here, understand that India need to find a alternative to deal with USA sanctions. It is very important. Second is rising Chinese influence. China is increasing its presence and influence in the India's neighborhood. Therefore, India should tackle it. India should counter it. Next is Chabahar issue. Now, Chabahar is a port that India is developing in Iran. But as fortunately, or as we all know, that India is very famous for its delays. Again, we have delayed this particular project, and it is not giving a good sign in the neighborhood. It is also not giving good sign to the India-Iran relations. Next, geopolitics. Now, problem is Iran is fighting with Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and USA, they are very close friends, and both USA and Saudi Arabia are hostile enemies of the Iran. They are totally opposite to each other. Secondly, Iran versus Israel. Iran supports Palestine, therefore Iran is natural enemy of Israel, and these 2023 attack are said to be supported by the Iran government only. Therefore, and India is having good relation with everyone, Iran, Israel, Saudi Arabia, USA. So it becomes very difficult to maintain good relations with all of these countries. Next, human rights violations that are happening in Iran. Now, though as a layman, it looks very good. To pinpoint the human rights violation in the other countries. That look, in your country, this human right violation is happening. In that country, that human right violation is happening. But as a leader, as a diplomat, we should not try to put our nose into the domestic affair of any country. As a diplomat, we should not put our noses into the others' internal affairs. Otherwise, what will happen? The other countries will start putting their nose in our internal affairs. Okay? So for writing, we can write human rights violation, but if it is asked in interview, then try to deviate from this point. Next is Iran lacks trustworthiness as a reliable partner. Now, why this particular point? Because ONGC Videsh, which is an arm of ONGC India, they founded a oil field known as Farzad B gas oil field in the year 2008. Okay? But unfortunately, the right to develop was not given to the ONGC, rather it was given to the Russia. So these happens to be the challenges in the Iran and India relations. Now, what could be the way forward? What could be the way forward? Way forward could be, we must use dehyphenation policy. Now, what is dehyphenation policy? According to this policy, if India is having relation with 2 different countries or 3 different countries, and they are enemies among themselves, then India must have relation with each countries without considering the other country. ठीक है, आप जो भी relation कर रहे हो, they should be on the merits of that particular country and not on the merit of the other country. So we have to take isolation approach. This is an approach which was used by USA with respect to Pakistan and India. This approach is again being used by the China with respect to all the countries in the world. China will have friendly relation with all the countries by using this particular policy only. Therefore, India should also use this policy to maintain good relations with all the countries, so that it is in interest of India. Second, we should increase connectivity. Third, we should find alternative to USA sanctions. We should increase tourism and people-to-people assistance. Then we should increase humanitarian assistance, like we should increase medical help, we should increase educational institution in the countries. Whenever a disaster happens, then India should send their disaster relief team for helping them. So these are some of the way forwards. In conclusion, you can write, we want a peaceful neighborhood, we want a peaceful region which both India and Iran demands, and therefore we should work towards that. I hope this is clear. Thank you very much.